Okay guys, so let's go over some examples. So number 1, the midpoint of segment AB is m, -1, -4. If the coordinate of A is -4, -7, what are the coordinates of B? So let's draw a quick diagram just so we can get an idea of what's going on. So we have A, and then this is B, so that's segment AB, and we are given M is -1, -4. So M is the midpoint. So let's put it somewhere around here. So I'm guessing somewhere around here is the midpoint. So we are given A and we're given M. So we're looking for B. So it's always important for you to know what it is that you're looking for. We are not looking for the midpoint. In this case, we are looking for the endpoint. So let's go ahead and start similar to how we would usually start. So we write down the two coordinates. So A is -4, -7. And then B, we don't know what they are. That's what we're looking for. So I'm just going to call them x2 and y2. Because A would be my first point and B would be my second point. That's why I put a subscript of 2 on the bottom. Now, this is going to be my x1, comma, y1. And now, what do we have to do? Well, we have to use our formula. Remember, m is equal to, and in this case, it's going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, or the mean of the x's, and then the other one's going to be the mean of the y's. So y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And now from here we plug in our values. So what is my x1? If you said -4, you are correct. So my x1 is going to be -4. And then plus my x2, which I don't know what that is, so I just rewrite it as x2. And then you divide it by 2. And then my y1 is -7. So it's going to be -7 plus my y2. I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to leave it as y2. We're looking for that. But now, so how can I go ahead and solve for x2 and y2? Well, we are given m, so we're going to use m. Remember, m, the x coordinate should be -1. So this, once you simplify it, should be equal to -1. So I'm going to rewrite it. So it's going to be -4 plus x2 divided by 2 should be equal to -1. Now let's go ahead and solve it. So how do you get rid of the 2 in the bottom? Well, you have to go ahead and multiply by 2, because remember, this line that we have here means division. So to get rid of division, we do multiplication. So we multiply both sides by 2. These two cancel out. All I have left is -4 plus x2 is equal to -2. And then from here, we have to go ahead and add 4 to both sides. These two cancel out. My final answer is x2 is equal to 2. Now let's do our y. So I'm going to put a line here. So this was my x. Now I'm going to do my y. So for my y, -7 plus y2 divided by 2 has to give me an answer of -7. That's the answer for, oh no, it's not -7. It is actually -4. -4m, the y value for m is -4. So this has to be equal to -4. And then from here, we do the same steps. We multiply by 2, multiply by 2. These two cancel out. We have -7 plus y2 is equal to -8. And then we go ahead and add 7 to both sides because we want to get rid of these. All we have left is y2 is equal to -1. So therefore, my b, the coordinates for b, would be 2 comma, -1. Okay, so now let's go over example number 2. So for example number 2, we have the midpoint of AB is -4, 6, and then the coordinates of A are 9 and 2, and we're asked to find B. So A is 9, 2. B is, we don't know, so I'm going to leave them blank. So in this case, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And then we go ahead and write down our formula and identify what is my x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's going to be my x1, y1, and then B is going to be my x2, y2. And in this case, we're not given x2 and y2, so we are looking for these two. So we are trying to find out what these two are. And we use our formula, m is equal to, remember it's x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And in this case, it has to be y. And now we go ahead and substitute. So this is going to be equal to, well, my x1 is 9, so it's going to be 9 plus, we don't know what x2 is, so I'm just going to leave it as x2 divided by 2, and then my y1 is 2, so that'll be 2 plus my y2, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to have to leave it as y2 divided by 2. And now, but we do know what we have to get for each one, right? So remember, this part has to be equal to -4. So once I simplify it, if I knew what these two were, then my answer would be -4. So I know that 9 plus x2 divided by 2 has to be equal to -4. So I'm looking for a number x2 that when I add it to 9 and I divide it by 4, it has to be equal to -4. Sorry, I'm looking for a number when I add 9 and then divide it by 2, I get -4. So now you have to do the opposites or inverse operations. To get rid of the 2, you multiply both sides by 2. So you're going to get 9 plus x2 is equal to -8. To get rid of the 9, you subtract 9 from both sides. And after you subtract 9 from both sides, you get x2 is equal to -17. Now let's go ahead and do the second part. So the second part is going to be for y, right? So we have our 2 plus, let's make this some space, 2 plus y2 divided by 2 has to be equal to what? So this part, the answer that it should get should not be the -4, it should be the 6, right? Because this corresponds to the y. So the answer that I'm looking for is what number when I add 2 to it, and when I add 2 to it and then I divide by 2, I get 6. So I'm looking for that number. So we go ahead and multiply both sides by 2. These two cancel out. We have 2 plus y2 is equal to 12. And then we have to get rid of that 2 here. So we subtract both sides by 2. Therefore, my final answer is going to be y2 is equal to 10. So remember, these two separate x and y, that's not the answer. The answer is the coordinate itself. So the coordinate is the answer. So in this case, I would have to plug them in here or just write them as a coordinate. So the answer is going to be -17, comma, 10. And that's pretty much it. Now, if at any point you're feeling lost, one other way that you guys can go ahead and do it is by checking your work. So how can you go ahead and do that? So let me show you a quick example on how to do that. So let's say that I'm not sure. Then I would have to write m is equal to, well, a is 9, 2. So it's going to be, remember, this is going to be my x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and then it's going to be my y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and I'm saying that my x is 9, and then my second x is negative 17. I'm dividing this by 2, and then my y1 is 2, so that's 2 plus 10 and divided by 2, and then my answer should be equal to what they gave me, so it should be equal to negative 4 and 6. So let's check if that's the case. So 9 minus 17, that's going to be negative 8 divided by 2, and then the second part is going to be 12 divided by 2, because 10 plus 2 is 12, and then we simplify it. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Is this correct? Well, let's check on top. Yes, it checks out. We got the right answer. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you have questions, make sure you send me an email or post it in the comments. Bye bye guys.